right, what's up guys? This weekend we have our very first DEKA Atlas right here at Live. Obviously this is a new format, integrity, making sure that we call it straight and that you are fully aware of what the standards are before the event, we think is really, really important just to ensure that the integrity of the moves and the integrity of the event is held to a pretty high standard. So we want to just take a second to break down each of the zones, show you what we're going to be looking for. We also shared this with our staff, so that's what a lot of this is based off of, to make sure that we're all on the same page. This Saturday, DEKA Atlas. Let's get started with zone one. Zone number one for Atlas obviously is 20 barbell thrusters, 95 and 65, male to female. The bar is going to start on the ground. A couple of specifics as we walk through them. The first one being that the bar has to start on the ground. 3, 2, 1, go. We will clean the bar to a front rack position. Okay. Then we're going to go into a squat and then full extension overhead. So the no rep opportunities will be in depth of squat. That is going to be a big one. So we're going to need those hips below, at or below the knees. So we're looking at the hip crease. No good, no good, no good. Right about there is probably it. And then as we come out of it, we need extension through our knees, hips, shoulders, and elbows. So no reps would be not enough depth or not enough extension at the top. I think the best possible solution for that, unless it's absolutely blatant, if there's something that's on the line, is to go ahead and give them one warning and then to go ahead and start repeating that same rep count, just like we do in DEKA Mile and DEKA Strong. So we have 20 barbell thrusters. They can set the bar back down under control, set the bar back down as many times as they want. They just have to re-clean it to that front rack position. 20 barbell thrusters, zone number one. Again, so we got 20 bar facing, bar over burpees. Pretty self-explanatory here, but there's a couple of things I want you to remember. Number one is the rep count is 20 and it begins with the burpee. So what that means is once we're done, we set the bar back down from our thrusters. We then face the bar. Chest has got to hit the ground on the burpee. We come back up. We're going to go over the bar. Both feet are going to touch the ground. We're going to turn back towards the bar, and then we're going to perform another burpee, all right? You can step over the bar. You can gallop over the bar. They can hop and turn over the bar, but they have to get back to facing the bar. That's really, really important. Things to think about. Number one is if their chest doesn't hit the ground. That obviously would be considered a no rep. Number two is they are not perpendicular. If they end up being sideways or parallel even, those are things that we would no rep for. If there's something that's on the line, same rules apply. Maybe we give a cue and let them know, hey, I need you to correct this. And if they don't, then we can start repeating the rep count again. Because it starts with a burpee, you have to end with the bar hop. So that means number 20 is a burpee, bar hop, and then we can move on to zone number 3. Zone number 2, DEKA Atlas, 20 bar over bar facing burpees. Okay. Zone 3 is 20 surrender lunges, all right? Dumbbell's gonna be on the ground. We're gonna clean it to that front rack position. They can hold it here, either way. It just has to be in that front rack position, okay? We're gonna be using a dumbbell. So it's here against our chest. Our feet are gonna be together, all right? I'll show you from the side actually. So our hips are underneath of us. That's really gonna be important. I like to think about the top of zone 1, DEKA Mile, DEKA Strong, where we need full extension. We're gonna go down, knees gonna touch. We're gonna repeat it and match with the opposite side, and then we're gonna stand right back up to that same position, okay? Again, down, and then right back up. There is no specificity about alternating or going back and forth. As long as both knees are on the ground and they stand all the way back up, that is a completed rep. Things to think about. I think both knees are probably gonna go on the ground, but I think where people may try to cheat is right here. So we wanna make sure knee and hip extension. If there's something on the line, you know the drill, give them the cue, and then just start no repping them. Surrender lunges, we have a total of 20. Okay, zone 4 is dumbbell, alternating dumbbell, ground to overhead. Our rep count is 20. A couple of specifics here that we want to look for. Number one, 2 different moves are going to be seen. One of them is going to be the snatch. The other is the clean to press. All that matters is that that dumbbell starts on the ground and then gets to overhead. So that means they could pull it up their body line, or they can clean it and press it as long as they end up in the same spot. Here's some specifics though. On the way down, they must control it. They can't just drop it. And then they're gonna switch hands only when the dumbbell is on the ground. They cannot switch midair. They cannot switch at the top. You can never have two hands touching the dumbbell at the same time. That's gonna be something that we wanna keep an eye on. So that would be here, boom, back down, switch. It cannot be here and then back up. So we must take it back down to the ground, reset, and then all the way back up with a snatch or with a clean to press. Things to think about: if the transition is bad, or if it doesn't hit the ground, or if they don't get all the way overhead. So zone 4, 20 ground to overhead, 35 and 50. All right, we got dumbbell bear crawl. All right, there are some specifics here that we want to discuss. First and foremost, the dumbbells have to start behind the line. Now, we have 5-meter sections. That's a pretty common increment in Atlas, unlike mile and strong, where we have a 10-meter increment. So we're going to start with both dumbbells down behind the line. The competitor has to go down past the 5-meter point with both dumbbells past that point, okay? And then back. 40 meters is the total, so they have to do that 4 times. Here are the specifics. Number 1, the dumbbells have to stay in line with your body, so that means they can't be all over the place, okay? You also have to keep your knees off the ground while the dumbbell is moving. If you drop, that's okay in the middle of the 5 meters. You just have to make sure that you're not moving the dumbbells at the same time, okay? Second, when you go to move the dumbbell, it can only be placed. It cannot be rolled or slid. That is a big one, because I've seen a lot of people do that. So that's going to be something that's really, really important, especially when people are trying to go fast, okay? Lastly, okay, we cannot have our back or our trailing foot come past the dumbbell. It's got to stay behind. This is what it's looking like. So we can't touch a knee and then move it. We also can't slide it. And we have to make sure that our knees are off the ground anytime that we are moving it. Now, once we're placing it, once we get both dumbbells all the way past this line, then we can turn around and start working back the other direction, okay? So think about that. Cannot slide them, cannot roll them, we cannot move them without our knees off of the ground, and we gotta make sure those feet do not go past the dumbbells. We can only turn around once we get both full dumbbells past that white line, okay? 40 meters, dumbbell bear crawl. In the event, okay, and this is how I understand the rules, in the event that one of those rules is broken, so let's say someone is walking and they go slide, okay? Before they move forward, once they get called out on it, they have to move that dumbbell back behind this other dumbbell, and then they can restart. So if it's like a slide or the knee touches while they're moving it, they gotta come up, replace the dumbbell, and then move it back, okay? So that's something that we wanna watch out for to the best of our ability. All right, zone 6, sit-ups, 35 pounds and 20 pounds. Very similar to DEKA Mile and DEKA Strong. Only difference is the weight is heavier, and we're gonna be using a dumbbell, all right? Everything else is pretty much the same. The best way to hold it is obviously by the handle, because the dumbbell has gotta make contact with the ground. So they're gonna pick it up, they're gonna go overhead first, boom, and then sit all the way up, hip between their feet, just like in Mile and Strong. That would be 1 rep, and they're gonna repeat it, okay? Things to look out for if the dumbbell didn't hit the ground on the backside, or just like in Mile or Strong, if it's not hitting between the feet. This is a pretty easy one to govern, okay? We are only doing 20 and not 25. That is the difference between Mile, Strong, and Atlas. So again, overhead, boom, between the feet. 20 reps, rep count. Zone number 7, farmer's carry. This is an important one, okay? We have 60 meters, same thing, 5-meter chunks. So what that means is we got to go down and back 6 times. Here are the specifics. Number 1, we start behind the line. We're going to deadlift them up. We're going to walk. Same mile and strong rules. That means 2 feet past the line. We're going to turn all the way back. Once both feet are past the line, we have to slowly deadlift them back down. I guess you don't have to slowly do it, but they must be under control, all right? You have to deadlift them back down. Guys are using 100 pounds here, so it's really gonna be important to show a lot of control. We do not just wanna drop them. In the event an athlete just drops the dumbbells here, they must do an additional deadlift and then set them back down correctly before they turn back around and continue. So it would look like picking up the dumbbells, down past the line, all the way past the start line, slowly lowering them down, turning around, picking them back up, and repeating that 6 times. They can drop them or take a rest in the middle. That's not a big deal. There's no penalty for that, but they just can't advance them forward when they do rest. So just keep that in mind. So zone number 7 is 60-meter farmer's carry. At the start line only, we must lower them down like a deadlift, turn around, and pick them back up. This is a big one. A lot of grip strength. Okay, zone 8, 2 dumbbell overhead. Push, press, jerk, you name it. We got some specifics here, and this is basically just a rep or a no rep. There's no penalty here, okay? And here's what we're looking at. Dumbbells are gonna be sitting on the ground. They're gonna be in a front rack position, and what we need is a push, press to overhead. So they're going from front rack, pressing overhead, and then right back down. Now, they can jerk them, meaning as the press goes up, they go under, little squat, but they must stand back up. So that what we're looking for is, number 1, either staying in that squat position, that would be a no rep, or not pressing them all the way up. I will tell you, this is probably the hardest zone to maintain standards. Shoulders are already smoked from everything, so it's gonna be important that we just keep a close eye on this. And what we're looking for, again, is just that squat extension. We want a straight line all the way from the dumbbells all the way to their ankles. Same thing, give them a cue. If it creates some consistency with that, then what we'll do is we'll just start no-repping them and repeating the same rep over and over and over again. So we can go right into a push press, or it could be more of a jerk where we go into that squat and then duck under it and then stand back up. They must stand back up. Hip extension, elbow and shoulder extension. All right, zone 9, pretty straightforward, 100 jump rope. I think really the only standard is that it is a single under, and the rope has got to go 360 degrees. So what that would look like, obviously, is just a regular jump rope, or even if they get caught, it has to go around. So if it gets caught, make sure that they're still going all the way around. Obviously, if it gets hit on the feet, they'll have to step in front and go all the way around. So you're counting each revolution or each rotation with the rope, and we need 100 single unders. So we want to do our best, stay on top of it, stay right in it, and make sure that we're counting those full revolutions of the rope. And I don't know of any no reps here outside of if the rope just doesn't go all the way around. That's really important. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward. They can use any rope that they want. So if they have a specific rope that they want to come in and use, that's also appropriate, or we will supply it. All right, zone 10. We got the Atlas carry. Start behind the line. We got to clean it up to the shoulder. It's got to be on the shoulder before we advance. So we're going all the way down, 2 feet past that 5-meter line, all the way back. Once 2 feet are past that start line, then we can drop it. We can drop it, got to release it. Ball's got to be on the ground, hands have got to be away from it, and then we can stand back up, pick it back up on the shoulder, another 5 down, and another 5 back. We got 10 trips. Things to look out for, especially as people start getting tired, okay? Things to look out for: they must cross the line before they drop the ball. They cannot advance it. Also, if they need to drop it in between, that's okay, but they must pick it back up. They cannot advance it or roll it. That's really, really important. So the biggest thing is at any time they can drop the ball, but in order for it to count the rep, they got to get that ball past this line. That's really, really important. If they were to drop it, let's say here, they have to pick it back up. Feet's got to pass the line, and then they can drop it again. All right, so that's really, really important if they drop it early. And it's 10 times down and back. Once they cross this line and drop the ball, that's when their clock stops. Okay, so that would be the final zone, 100-meter shoulder carry, end of Atlas, right there at the finish line.